So I talked about, excuse me, I talked about politics, power in politics. Another thing that I've really been meditating on, trying to sharpen my edge on, and put into practice in my daily endeavors, in my own way that makes sense for what I do. Okay, and one thing I've learned, again, reverse engineering. One thing I've learned that is a very underrated political strategy is giving away credit publicly, and in turn banking trust privately. Very, very counterintuitive for a lot of men, for a lot of so-called leaders, is always having to hoard credit. Okay. It's a simple move. It separates the leaders who continue to rise with loyalty at their back from those who fall under um, the weight of breeding envy and resentment and jealousy. Okay, I can observe and attest to the fact that I've built a loyal following in my arena. I'm continuing to do that because I never hoard the rewards and I never hoard the credit. Okay, so if you think about it, really don't care about titles, because that's not real power. Uh, you can use money as a resource. You can use muscle. But all of that really are tools to build in the right manner trust, reciprocity, and build your credibility, your reputation. Okay. And then at the core of that, nothing really builds trust and loyalty faster than just letting others shine, uh, letting them have the credit. We've seen that in the underworld. I love I love a good mob boss anecdote, mob mafia story anecdote. I love it. I mean, it's so many great parallels because it was such an arena that where so many different tropes came into play. Okay, but mob bosses ruthless, um, but their downfall often came from hoarding credit, from losing respect, and falling under the weight of their ego. Right? We've seen that so many times. Hello. So I click on it, and then like you know, one of the biggest mob bosses, Al Capone. You read his story. Uh, he made himself a target in so many different ways. But when it came down to the end, a lot of why his empire crumbled was because he didn't have any allies in the end. Everybody turned on him. Same thing with Bugsy Siegel. Bugsy Siegel built Las Vegas, okay, but he was known to be pretty arrogant. Um, he built the Flamingo, and then he started to shun and dismiss his council of his backers, um, of his investors, and you know, in the end, he was rewarded with a bullet to the head by those he trusted the most. And who trusted him probably at one point. Okay, but he hoarded the resources, he hoarded the credit, and that's how they met their demise. That's part of the demise. Julius Caesar from antiquity. Okay, um, he was known as somebody who actually was um, a master of giving away credit. Right, that's how he built his great following. And then again, in the end, he was betrayed. But um, Napoleon was known as someone who was um, um, willing to give away credit, share credit. Alexander the Great was known to really honor his soldiers and eat with them, and lift him up, and be a great leader in that aspect, right? Marcus Aurelius, okay, the philosopher emperor he's known as, he um he understood that, he led a life of humility, and he often praised others, and you can tell he was secure and stable during his reign. Okay, so the modern lesson. I mean, there's the examples abound. You can look to so many examples of great leaders who are known to share credit with their people, and then people who did the opposite. Hello. But if you hog all the credit, um, people will start to conspire against you in private. Uh, your power will diminish. Okay, and it really just makes you look like you're not secure. And conversely, the more you're able to, um, the paradox of politics really is the more credit you give away, the more influence you actually gain, the more power you actually gain. Okay, remember those mafia figures who forgot that they were betrayed. Um, and it's no different today in the boardroom, in the office, no different in business. So you want to build your credibility, build the credit of others. Private trust builds you. Public credit builds others. So uh, public credit builds others. Public trust builds you. And that's how your power multiplies. And that's one way how politics works and how it works in your favor. That's all I have for you on power and politics right now. We'll talk more about that. Peace and blessings.